Okay, let us understand these goal templates in XML, like which we have explained in the instance. In the same way, we also should know that these templates, how these are specified in XML file. So let me open one of the file. This will be the same. These files will be same, but we have some elements in each of the plan templates for goals and even for form templates for performance management. So you'll take your okay. Right, let us understand this one by one and move ahead. Okay, right. So goal plan templates. Whether I'm recording it. Okay. So see in the goal plan templates, what are the things? What kind of elements we find? We find general settings, we find the fields, and we find the categories. Right. Within that, each field and categories, and we have so many fields, like whether it is a required field, whether it is a default, whether it is a description, whether it's ID. We see the start date and end date, the goal widget, the text replacement. Lot of things you find here within your instance when you just go and open any of the goals which are already existing within your system, right? But let us open this same goal plan templates, which are the default ones, where we can configure and we understand them through these goal plan templates in a XML file. Let us understand them one by one. And here, what makes these goal plan templates? For example, when you go back to your SDM, succession data model, we have a standard field elements, we have a field elements, we have a element permissions, we have a filtering options, and so on. But when you open even any of the what we call you also have HRIS elements, HRIS field elements, you have a tab field elements. I will explain when I start time off. I will explain what is a tab field elements, or whether it is a position field elements, custom fields. A lot of things are there. In the same way, when it comes to the goal plan templates in XML configurations, like you see in the instance, like general settings, the categories and the fields, you also have the same similar configurations in the XML files. Let us understand this both together, XML and what makes an XML, so that right. If you just carefully look at here, what exactly the goal plan template, when compared with the presentation here, the elements that makes the elements are, one is the file header, the template configuration options, like plan type, plan date, which includes like, the plan ID, goal plan name, description. This is optional goal plan description in the same way you see here in the instance, like which I've seen yesterday, and a last modified date, the goals plan start date, and a goal plan due date. And you also see the numberings for each goal plan template. Okay, automatically the number goals, and option to define the categories as a default, and even the catch all categories, and the option to use a goal widget and a replacement of the text if required, and use a goal library and so on. But you just look at here the goal plan template, and you see any goal that is going to start, it has a header, right? How to find the header for the goal plan template, I'll explain one by one, right? And you just look at here the goal plan name, and you can just look at here the plan ID, the plan type, the name, and object plan name. And you see there are a lot of things why it is repeated. It's because you have a lot of times repeated, and it also supports in other, you know updated the same in other languages. it's been converted. For example, Japanese language, Chinese language with any special coding here, encoding. Next, you see that object plan description, and you can find here. Okay, we'll see that everything in detail, right? Next, you see that object plan last modified, and you can see the date and the time and so on, and object plan start date, object plan due date, text replacement, category, and so on, right? So we will see all these in detail step by step, right? So first, what we need to understand, the file header. The file header is the first element in the goal plan template. When you are going to download the DTD from the document type definition from provisioning, you get a file that already contains the file header for you to work with. So here the first line of the XML declares the DTD for the SuccessFactors object 2. Look at here, object plan template, and you see here the document type object plan template, and you can see what is this is a file header, right? So whatever that I just selected, what is that called as? It is a file header. It is a default why it is already containing for any goal plan template. For any goal plan template you are going to create your one, so this header should be there as it is. Okay, whether this object plan template is a public, whether this object plan template is a private, and that also you can define. And you can see here the same way it's presented here in XML, right? You can see here in present, and you can see here the same way. So that's how we need to understand. Now let us understand in detail about each plan ID, name, and so on, right? So when you are going to download the corresponding DTD, it is always recommended, and every time the file has to be saved in a copy, that we need to copy it, when you edit, and when you again try to import to the system, what happened, the file is going to overwrite. So that is why in the beginning of SDM, I was just telling like file management consideration. In the same way, when you download, it's always recommended that you have to save the file on your desktop in a different name format, so that when you try to import, after you make necessary changes to the file, so that it is not going to overwrite the file. Next, yeah, and if you want to find out things, the more details about to configure the TGM goal plan templates, so you can refer to the goal plan template, and these are some of the samples. And if you want to access from your partner portal and internal SharePoint, so you can access through an implementation product information DTD. There is a link, okay, the link called as information, like implementation product implementation DTD. Next, you find in the internal SharePoint, there you will find it as a product central documents product, and you have there a goal category, and select the DTD link, and then you will find all these templates as a samples with a lot of other information. So where you can access the details there in depth explanation. Right. Let us understand step by step each element we have in the goal plan template. Right. So here object plan type, it is a sub element. Okay. The sub element. What are those? These whatever that you see here, that object plan ID, and this is the main element. And in this we have sub elements like object plan ID, the type, a name, and so on. When you come here, you can see the first thing is object plan ID. What is the object plan ID? The object plan ID is a unique number that identifies the goal plan. Okay, the numbering has to be assigned because we have a lot of other plan templates as well. We have a goal plan templates, we have a development plans, and we have a learning templates, we have a career CWS, career worksheet templates. So for every template we have in the system provisioning, we have a numbering provided. How to identify the numbers assigned to the templates? The 1 to 1000, the numbering is assigned for the TGM, That's the total goal plan templates. 2001 to 3000 is for internal development plan, and 4001 to 5000 is a learning activity. Okay, that is for LMS. And 5001 to 5099 is for a career worksheet. Means when we say the career, which module it is refers to? Career worksheet, which module it refers to? Which module? Recruitment. Yeah. So, right. And you just scroll down, everything you will find here, manage templates here, managing the plan templates, and you can see that objective plan templates and worksheet plan templates, learning activity templates, and development plan templates, and so on, you will see here. And for everything, we have a plan ID in the XML configuration. And that plan ID is the one which specifies the numbers assigned for each templates we have in the system. Okay, so then how to identify here in our XML goal plan templates, which we opened in XML editor. Let us come here, click on your object plan ID, and you can see that the plan ID is being assigned a unique number, which is from within the range of 1 to 1000. And you can also click on a table view, and you can see here. All right, you can see here, but it is something in a different look. You can see it expands, but it is not like your HRIS elements, as HRIS element will be having a field IDs, labels, length, and so on. But when it comes here, the look is completely different, and you see that here. But the same way you also see here in your configuration of your instance as well. And you see that you can also directly mention that if you want to make a modification, and if you are copying, and if you are segregating these plan templates, maybe maybe mapping may be visible for some of the fields for some of other users, and so on. You can do it as you like. Okay, so here you can also see in the table view as well for the plan ID that how you can identify. Right, so here you can see the same way here. Next, you just look at here, plan type, objective plan type. It is a goal plan type. Okay, see here, this is used, what is the use of this objective plan type? It is used to differentiate the types of plans. Okay, whether it is a business goal plan template, whether it is a career development plan, whether it's a learning activity goal plan, and whether it is a career worksheet, okay, career development plan, so on and so on. So you just look at here, it is very clearly mentioned object plan. Okay, you can see here business goal plan. In the same way, if you open other goal plan templates available, I'll give you all. Okay, and then you can understand that one no, it is to differentiate the templates available in the system. Okay, this differentiate, whether it is a CDM, whether it is a business, whether it is a learning, whether it's a worksheet, the format and everything is going to be the same for any templates. As you see, corporate data model, succession data model, and so on. Right. So I'm just explaining about understanding about this, the sub elements and elements we have in the templates. Next, you see here are the object plan name, object plan description, and object plan last modified, object plan start date, and object plan due date, and so on. Right. So object plan name is the name of a goal plan. That name will appear in the UI. The user select the name to drop down list in the box where the users will select when you log into the system. The users will be able to select here from where. I'll show you that. Right, you just simply go and select your goals or your performance, both no problem because both works together. Okay, right. Let me come back to the goals itself. So here, whatever that you see here, the user, the name that appears, the object plan in the UI in the drop down for the users. That means you come here and you can just go and click on this. Okay, object plan goal names, and this is somebody has put here the background. That's why it is not highlighted properly, and you can see all the plans made available to the users. Okay, we will explain everything. It's not over in the instance. We have some other configurations to be explained. So the users can select, but the user can only see when he selects, the user can only see if it is assigned for the user. For example, I'm just going to select any other goal, and whether it is assigned or not to the same user, how you can identify, you can see there are no goals in this category for the user admin S. So since we created but we didn't assign the goals to the user, that is why you don't find these goals to the user. But still the user can see that all the goals available for all the employees here in the drop down list. And that is the one which makes your object plan name in your XML configuration. Whether it is a new higher goal plan, whether it is a basic goal plan, whether it is an extended goal plan, and so on. Okay, and this is in other languages, it has been updated. Next one, you see that object plan description. The description does not appear on the UI. Okay, the description that does not appear, but when the user creates his own goal, okay, when the user creates his own goal and when he assigns his own goal, and the user will see as an instruction of the description placed in the object description placed in the UI, and the user will see. And even when you look at here that object description, and you can see here, but you don't see anything, any description that you find here. Okay, so but what you have to do, you have to specify your object description, but the format and everything is specified in the template. Next here, see that object plan last modified and start date and due date, and the modified date, the goal plan start date, and the goal plan due date. And you can see this field is automatically updated when the XML file is successfully uploaded into a provisioning. Okay, you don't have to modify and you don't have to change. And the goal plan start date, the format must be as a USA date format, as a month, date, year. This establishes the default value for the start date for each goal, and format must be the month, date, and year, and this specify the default due date for each goal. Okay, let us look at it. Object last modified date, and automatically these updates in the system when you're trying to update, when you try to import in the system as it is. Next one, object plan start date and object plan due date, and so on. In the same way, you can see a lot of other things here in the system, as you have to understand the same way, like object plan numbering and add widget and the text replacement, an option to replace the text, and so on. Right. And you also see that object plan library, category, option to define a goal categories and default categories, field definition permissions, a list of general permissions, as we see, like E means employee and EM means employee manager, and plan layout, form layout, PDF layout, and the details layout, and so on. Right, you can see everything here, and you can see the text replacement, but it's always recommended, when you are going to work with all these XML, it is always recommended to copy the existing one, okay, and to modify as required directly within instance itself. Okay, so we'll see lot other things as well slowly. Let us understand so how to configure and how we can import and how we can transfer the goals to between the within the users and so on before I explain other configurations within this particular presentation. Right. Let us go back to your system and understand that. Just give me a second. Hello. Hello. Yeah. So let me explain some of the concepts here in the system, like how to manage goals within your system. So manage the goals within your system. So here we will see that how we can export the goals, how we can transfer the goals between the users, and how we can edit the goals, which you have seen already. So you can just go and click on import and export goal library. Right. You can see here import and export goal library. Click on this. And here you can see that this goal library, it consists of number of goals that where the users can access and where they can administer their own goal plan templates. So here you as an administrator, you may export a goal library and modify as you need, and you can import it back to the system, and you can also export it back to the system so as you require. But since we are going to modify and we are going to copy, and you can see just like your export and import concept, like for employees we have, and you can see that download a goal library template in a CSV file, and you can just go and click on it, whichever the goal plan templates which you want to download, and you can just go and select and you can download it. And you can see here import goal library. After you make all the necessary changes, and you can import back. But and you can see that it should be the maximum size of your 5 MB. The reason why it is showing here as a 5 MB, the file that you are going to import, because in a provisioning we have an option in the goal section that it allows you where you can update, like whether it is a 5G 1 GB 1 TB and so on, you can update. So that this is where you can restrict, okay, where you can restrict your, what do we call, the files that you are importing with the data into the system. Right. So in the same way, you can see here export a Go library to a CSV file and so on. Next, it's all you are already aware, and you can just open. If you don't understand, you can ask me. Now, let me explain about export a Go library, and which is the same. Now, let us see how we can understand about the transferring the goals between the users. But when you are going to transfer the goals which are already existing within the system, right? So what happens, suppose when you're trying to transfer the goals between the user, the system is, you will never find the same goal when you transfer from one user to another user. You don't find that. That means you as an administrator, you may have to transfer the goals within the existing goal plans from one user to another user. So let us go and check it what happens. Suppose there are some goals when it is already there existing within the system for any user, for example Anipe, and whatever the goals are assigned to him, and if you want to transfer the goals from this Anipe maybe to the user Lorenzo, but the Anipe will never find the goals to the user, right? You can just go and click on the find goals, right? Sorry, you can just go and click on find a user, right? And you see other users here. I'll go and assign admin, yes. Not showing, it has to show. Just a second. We are not assigned any goals. That's the reason it's finding the goals which are assigned to the user. Just give me a second. I'll check it and right. Select this user. Close the window. Lorenzo. Yes. Now you can see there are some goals assigned. Okay, here with the user. Okay. So if you want to transfer these goals, there are some goals like financial and other, and you can select here, for example, if you want to send whichever the goals that you want to send, like we have a 2013 goal plan 7, and the name and the goal name, the category, and description. So in this 2013 goal plan category 7, we have a, like categories like financial and other, and the goal name and the description. So now if you want to transfer whichever that you want, otherwise you can just go and select, and you can transfer to the user Lorenzo, which you have selected. Now you have transferred two goals successfully to the user. But once you transfer these goals from one user to another user, what happens? And you don't find these goals again. And you can just go and cross verify whether the goals are successfully transferred to the user or not. The employee's username invalid. Now you can see there are so many goals assigned with this Lorenzo. I didn't try. You can see there are so many goals. Whichever the goals that you want to transfer, you can transfer it for your users. Okay. You can ask me if you have any doubts.